I have 100% been walking the lot at night, checking to make sure everything's locked up and nothing needs to be pulled in or anything like that. I'm like, man, that vehicle's been here for a little while. What's the story with that thing? And I don't know. It's been here for days. I just figured a customer dropped it off to pick up their car. Well, it's unlocked. Well, I guess we'll go diving and looking for registrations.
Yeah.
Hey, the key's in the cup holder. Okay, so that was dropped off 3 or 4 days ago by a tow truck. Then how does somebody have a car towed in and it'd be there for days? Then just never call and check on it.
The following program features a bunch of doofuses talking about the automotive aftermarket. The stuff we or our guests may say do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of our peers, our sponsors, or any other associations we may have. There may be some spicy language in this show, so if you get your feelings hurt easily, you should probably just move along. So without further ado, it's time for Confessions of a Shop Owner with your host, Mike Allen.
So, what's up?
ASTA 2025.
The Expo.
The Expo.
How's it been so far?
It's been good. It's a change to a bigger event, which is good, but change is hard.
We were just discussing how we kind of fucked up the lunch today on day 2. In the registration process, you're supposed to check boxes for what events you intend to go to, right? And I guess we had 850 that checked for lunch, and we ended up being 100 people short of box lunches. And you were giving me some feedback that the Italian sandwich wasn't very damn good either. So
I don't know what nationality sandwich it was, but it was nothing I've ever eaten before. And
wasn't salami, maybe it was Somali.
I don't know. Somali sandwich is quite close.
But so I mean, that's those types of things that we need to hear to get better at, right? So the conversation that we just had was, hey, we had the perfect amount of food yesterday, and we had the perfect amount of food this morning for breakfast, and we came up short at lunch. That means we need to increase the order for dinner tonight and every meal tomorrow immediately to try to, bridge that gap. So the logistics on the backside of an event like this, I had no idea, man. And the fact that the entire event is being put on by 2 paid staff members and everything else is volunteer is crazy to me. This is enormous for that level of staff, and I'm super impressed with them. Ryan Reagan is the executive director. He does a little bit, Jesse is the chaos coordinator that runs everything. So if you see her, you need to dap her up. And yesterday was her birthday. She was here working on her birthday.
Wow.
Or Wednesday was her birthday, I think. So setup day and everything was. She was here from 4 a.m. to midnight. But she's a dynamo. Volunteers are pretty cool too, I guess. So hopefully we get the meal situation straightened out. The other thing that I've seen that we need to improve upon is if you got your registration right in advance, all your classes are on the back of your card, along with the classroom where the class is being held. And then in your swag bag, there's a map for all the classrooms. But if registration got messed up in some way, you don't have that. You don't know what classroom your classes are in.
Wow.
And so a map does you no good because you don't know where you're trying to get to. So we need in the swag bag just a list of all the classes and what rooms they're in.
Yeah.
And that would have made life a lot easier. So there's a lot of people that were wandering around where they should go this morning. And so learning experience on that front. Anything else that you would like to see differently?
So one of the things my advisor brought up this morning was related to not knowing who the audience these classes are made for. Mm-hmm. And, we don't know if this is an entry-level course. We don't know if this is a high-level class. Who is the expected audience for this information? So having some sort of indication that this is a 100 level class versus a 300 level class, and what defines each of those categories, I think would be really helpful.
That's really good feedback. So on the website, which is a weak spot, the website is not great, but we're working on it right. It does have specifications of who this class is for: advisor, entry level tech, journeyman tech, master tech, marketer, manager, owner, right?
Sure.
But it's not right here.
Tiered.
Right.
Yeah.
And the website's not super user friendly and intuitive yet. Whole revamp coming for next year. So I advocate for like a color coding system. Just like green, yellow, red, or green, blue, silver, whatever, for levels of technician. And I don't know that we're going to have entry level and expert level advisor classes. They're just advisor classes, right? Because even an expert advisor can stand to learn something from sitting through a class on phone skills or on handling stressful situations or overcoming objections or whatever it might be. It's always good to sharpen those skills. So just kind of making the user experience easier, I think would be good. And I think there's some more things that we can do with the lanyards and the badges to give some visual cues about, owners get one color, technicians get one color, sales get one color, maybe first-time attendee. Right, this year, I think first-time attendees have a different color than multiple attendees, and vendors have a different color.
So what you're saying is we need more pieces of flair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to have more flair, but if you really love it here,
I think it's minimum 25
minimum
pieces
of
flair.
25 pieces of flair would be ideal.
Yeah.
So
So
what would you say you do here?
yeah,
So if we're going to start quoting Elvis.
that a little sidebar.
Look, here's the deal. I like to think that I'm pretty good at running an auto repair shop. It's what I've done for 20 plus years, but I'm not good at managing a marketing budget and all the different facets of a truly well-rounded marketing plan. There's mail, there's local advertising, there's website, there's Google AdWords, there's all the different things that go into that, and it's just not what I'm good at. So what I've chosen to do is to buy myself the time to focus on what I am good at while having someone else execute on all of those things at a way higher level than anything I could ever do. That's what turnkey auto marketing does for me. So if you feel like you could use some of that same magic, I'm going to recommend that you go to turnkeyautomarketing.com, get a free consultation, tell them that I sent you, tell them that Confessions of a Shop Owner sent you.
Hey there, I've got to tell you about something new for our industry, Tectonic 2026, presented by Techmetric. This isn't just a user conference. It's built for the whole shop. Owners, advisors, and techs each have sessions designed for what they actually do every day. It's 3 days in Houston, Texas, filled with workshops, panels. We're expecting over 1,000 people from around the country. You don't have to be a Techmetric user or customer to attend. Tap the link in the show notes to check out Tectonic 2026. Grab early bird pricing while you still can.
On YouTube, I started watching like 20 unknown facts about movies, and that movie popped up. Was it TGI Fridays is the Flair place, right?
Yeah.
They got rid of Flair because of that movie.
Amazing.
Well, it was Chachi's in the movie, right? But they were
Yeah.
clearly making fun of TGI Fridays.
So a movie that did horrible in box office, but has an amazing cult following for decades to come, I'm sure, changed an entire business model.
Yeah,
I mean, it was pretty awesome.
I believe that completely. What's another stupid comedy that was not good in the butt?
Idiocracy?
Yeah, Idiocracy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's now turning into a documentary.
That's the scary part. When satire becomes reality.
Yep.
Super Troopers was like that for me.
Yeah.
I can go back and watch it every time. It's better if you're high, but I've never been high in my life, but I've heard that it's better if you're high. So some movies just are better that way. Better with friends who have childish senses of humor.
Yes. That is I.
So I'm here with the Josh and Josh Show. You guys are starting a new podcast, Josh and Josh in the morning, I heard.
Yeah, the morning drive.
Yeah.
And
Nothing but rock.
rock.
It's going to be a live call-in show every morning from 6 to 9. Talk about shop life and listen to the best from 70s, 80s, and 90s hair metal is what I've been told. Is that true? Or did I just make that up right on the spot?
It's not true. Yeah,
It's
I like it.
not true.
I don't have enough to do already.
Yeah.
Greg Buckley of Buckley's Auto Care in Delaware, he has passed his business effectively off to his family because they're doing a great job. And he's always been a radio head. And so he's researching all of the legalities and FCC rules and everything. He's starting Shop Soup Radio, which is music with rights, right, and everything. He's going to jump through all the right hoops, but mixed in with interviews with shop owners and episodes of podcasts about ownership and leadership stuff and everything else.
That's cool.
So I feel like you could be the morning drive time show.
Yeah. You could reach out to Jimmy Purdy on that, and he's his.
He's got a local radio show too, right?
Yeah.
So
He's like the local click and clack.
I hate those guys.
Oh, I love him.
The advice that they give
gonna
is
fight, Mike.
really bad sometimes.
It's entertainment, but the heart is in the right place, and nobody was doing that. And it's bad advice. It's like doing estimates over the phone.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
And it's also just all shit box cars that they talk about. From like, I got an 82 Oldsmobile. First thing you should do is drive it into a ditch and leave it and walk away.
Yeah, what if there was some radio show that was more up to speed with the way that we run our businesses, where they call in and we just say, hey, yeah, we'd love to get you an estimate on that. This is what we recommend doing, finding a shop. Here's the good shop for you. Go there.
You know what we need like Pollock and Perkins and some of those just like world-class Diag guys, and it's just a call-in show for technicians. You have to call in and prove that you're an actual technician working in a shop, and you call in, and they brainstorm the problem together and record it and publish it.
That's cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or it might be
Really
terrible.
good ideas. We're not even drunk.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yet. So I wanted to have you guys on the air because, one, you're both cool dudes that I enjoy talking to. And if you're willing to share, I'd love to hear about y'all had the opportunity. We met at Fuel and Connections in April, I think. And I think we recorded with you. Yeah. And we've known each other for a year or more now.
3 years,
yeah. But Josh Coomes, you had a chance to go spend a couple of weeks at Josh Rainwater's shop. And just kind of, I want to talk through what that experience was like and kind of what you both learned and how it's been since then. So if I could, can you start off by kind of laying the foundation of where your business is and what it was like to get you to the point that Josh came to visit?
Yeah. So I guess like where we left off was the week of Fuel and Connections.
Hey, everybody. I wanted to take a minute to tell you about the coaching organization I've been involved with for, over 20 years now, Elite. Elite Worldwide, they don't give you a one-size-fits-all solution. They tailor the coaching specifically to you and your shop. They pair you with an experienced coach who is either a current or a former shop owner, and they turn strategies into actual action and accountability and results. Whether it's improving your service advisor's sales, growing your shop, growing to multiple locations, they really have you covered. They've got training for all of those things. Clients of Elite really see results, higher profits, stronger teams, a better work-life balance. If you're ready to take the next step, visit eliteworldwide.com to schedule your discovery session. That's eliteworldwide.com to start working on your business rather than in it. Tell them that you heard about them on Confessions of a Shop Owner so that I get a pat on the back or maybe a box of chocolates or something. That would be awesome. Thanks.
I think the day before I was just like busting out work, just trying to get to a place where things were going to wrap up and, things were going to have a nice bow on it before I could leave. And there was just so much pressure and so much, so many promises that were made that needed to be addressed and issues fixed before I could go. And so once, we went through I guess got back from, Mooresville, it was just walking right back into the same thing because the processes really hadn't changed. We're just fixing the problems, the small stuff that just adds up. And so I was really getting to a breaking point on, what I was able to do, what sort of problems were popping up in the shop that were just getting kicked around the road and that sort of thing. And I was at a really, really like low point where I don't know how this is tenable. Like, I don't know how we can continue this. And I didn't know where to start. And, I was, a part of the ASOG Mastermind group and, was getting help from those guys, but, really thankful for what they were able to do, but they're not in the day-to-day operations. And so, those kind of groups are awesome, but there is a certain amount of introspection that you need to have where, hey, I'm identifying the problem. I don't know the solution. How do we approach this? How do we fix this? But where I was having the breakdown, I feel like, was I'm not identifying the problem. I'm so deep in it, I can't see.
Lost in the weeds.
Yeah, I mean, the forest for the trees. And so, Josh had reached out, and offered to, come and hang out. Let's see what's going on, man. Let's see what we can identify. And we really didn't have an itinerary or, like a day-to-day flow. But, in the beginning, he showed up and was like just observing and seeing where the issues were. And a lot of issues that I had never even known were issues really started to show themselves quickly.
Okay. And so you haven't been in business for long, right, Josh?
January 24.
Okay. So give me kind of a little background on your shop and what got you to the point so that you were able to go hang out and spend time with other Josh.
Coaching, set up, profitability immediately, right? Money isn't everything, but it does solve a lot of problems, and it gives you freedom to do things. So we got to a point where we were making money. We're the first month, first month maybe not. The second month, we're making money. And then you grow the business. You always want to replace your job with other people. So now I can go do that. So it's like, all right, I hired an advisor first, which typically isn't normal, but I'm okay with it. I had the good person. She turned out to be one of the, I probably have, it'll be the best employee I've ever had. She just left last Friday. But so hired the tech, got a tech, train them up, good work culture, good work relationship. Business is growing. Another technician comes in. Now we have 2 technicians. Revenue doubles, opens up more opportunity, better customer experience, better other, more subscriptions, right?
Yeah.
So like other cool things.
Yeah.
More loaner cars. And then it's like, okay, that goes well. Then, 6 months into that, it's like, all right, we're going to, do well. We have structured goals in place. You have to stay focused on those things. And then it's like, all right, it was a test for me at that point to be able to leave the shop and see what happens. Like, I want to be not really an absentee owner, but by 27, I want to come and go in my shop as I please. So having this set up to where the shop is profitable, having good processes in place, and then being able to test them by leaving a few days at a time and not getting any phone calls and not putting out any fires, that was a way that we could both help each other, right? So it was funny. I fired a technician. I was supposed to leave to head to Kentucky on a Saturday after, or Friday night or Saturday morning. And Friday I decided to fire a technician. Or earlier that week I decided to fire a technician, but he was on vacation. So instead of calling him or texting him, I waited until Monday morning, 8 o'clock, until he came in. I met him at his car and told him I was letting him go. And it was for integrity. And I was like, we were still in a good spot to where I lost half my revenue generation. It didn't bother me because I'm going to help a friend, and we were okay. So, like, money does solve a lot of things.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and I'm not loaded by any means. Like,
but having that emergency fund and having that buffer makes a world of difference in how comfortable you sleep, for sure.
Yeah.
So before we get to that, the transition to when you went out to Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned coaching. You started off with one company and didn't click. And then I think last year at the Expo, right after Hurricane Helene, we had a charity auction. And I think you bought a year of coaching at charity at the auction from Rick. Is that right?
Yes.
So you've been utilizing that for the last year. That's been pretty good for you?
Yeah. I'm an open book, I'll be honest. I actually told Rick, we had a record month, right? And I mean, we crushed it. We had a record month. And I'm looking at what has happened, and I actually told Rick, we had a record month, but I don't see anything that 180 Biz did for me to make that happen. And I was just being honest, right? And he's like, you may not see it, but it's in the background. And I was like, I don't know, you know? And then as time went on, and I went out to go to his place for 2 weeks, while I was in Kentucky, I texted Rick back and I said, I'm sorry. Because, like, it 100% did. I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
So he's like the man behind the curtain, right?
It's like incremental growth happens so slowly that you don't recognize it happening.
Yeah.
Like when you were a teenager, you didn't realize that you were growing rapidly, but every time you see your relative that you only see once every couple of months, like, oh my God, you're so much taller, right? It's happening quickly before your eyes, and you don't even realize that it's happening. So
yeah, so I had to, I made it he needed to know that I was truly sorry. He wasn't offended by any means, but yes,
he's got thick skin.
The program is amazing, right? It's not for everyone, but what has created with his wife and the team that he put together, is huge. It's like if you're looking for coaching, you absolutely 100% have got to schedule a consultation with Rick. There's no option, in my opinion. You don't have to choose him, but you need to see what's available.
I think if you're going to get a coach, you owe it to yourself not to sign up with the first person that you talk to. You need to interview at least 3, because not every coach coaches the same methodology, and not every coach is right for every shop owner. So you need to spend a little time with introspective and know what your desired outcome is, what the goal is, what you're moving towards. If you want 30 shops and to be rolled up by private equity, it's a different model than if you want to be the best shop in town and be open 3 days a week. Yeah. There's a difference between what Becky is training and what Todd Hayes is training, right? They're different models, and I don't believe that one is necessarily better than the other in a lot of ways, because it depends on what your goals are, right? Both of them have shortcomings, and maybe the reality for shop owner C is somewhere in the middle. So anyway, speaking to good ideas, other than your morning radio show that we discussed and the technician call-in show that we discussed, we've talked on and off, and this is by no means official. So this is first public conjecture about having an ASTA mastermind, and it'd be for new startup shops as kind of a bridge to get them from startup to where they can go out and get their own coach and be able to afford to pay for it. So the thought process is, if you are a member in good standing of ASTA, that you reach out and let us know that you're interested in a mastermind program, and that you get paired along with others with a mentor shop owner that can help you get from where you are to that kind of handoff point where you can go be a client for Elite or for Rick or for any one of the other ones that are out there.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that. And I think you've got a spirit for it and a heart for it. And there's some other people that are heavily involved with the association that I think would be really good with it. And I think it might be fun to try to do something like that, be involved with something like that myself next year after I'm off the board. So, but that'll be fun. So just floating that out there for everybody. Tanika Haynes, you're going to be involved with that as well. I'm not sure if you have heard. And it might be a train wreck. I don't know, or might never get traction. But it's very similar to what ASOC does, I guess.
Yeah, I think, when we were talking about this and kind of brainstorming it, I was trying to see, like, why do we need another one? Do you need Pepsi if you have Coke, right? Like, do you really need another? And it's like, okay, well, the answer is yes.
Duopolies are good for business.
For free of charge.
Yeah, free duopolies.
Yeah. So the one thing that I think the ASOC Mastermind or the ASTA Mastermind group would be different than what ASOC's provided, or even some other free 20 groups or whatever the case is that because it's primarily in North Carolina, seeing how much of a shop visit has changed so much. It's that, what is it, from Boone to Wilmington or Jacksonville? It's like 6 hours maybe.
Yeah.
So like that is, to be able to schedule those in person, I think that's going to be like the biggest benefit of offering like that, right? And not only that, but ASTA membership is open for
nationwide, yeah.
International,
yeah,
right?
So yeah, we have some international members.
So it's not just for North Carolina, but
I think there's potential to do a lot of good in that, and my desire, and I am not in any way able to rubber stamp anything, but my desire is that it not be any cost. So it's purely volunteer from the mentor standpoint. So if there's somebody who wants to be a mentor to fresh startups, then they're doing that on their own time and their own dime, and the association doesn't bill anything beyond normal membership for it.
That's great.
But to that end, I think there has to be some accountability that if you come with a problem and your mentor gives you a solution and you don't take action over a certain period of time, then you can get the hell out. Because, you're taking a seat that somebody else could use and benefit from. So I apologize for the multiple tangents. That's what I do. So we get to the point where you're a year and a half in. Things have been going relatively well. You're growing. You're taking the steps that you need to step and that you need to take. You've obviously got a heart for helping folks out. You've just come to Fuel and Connections, and y'all have, I think, gotten to know each other even better at Fuel and Connections. And you're at that kind of point, similar to where Lucas was the first time he came to the Expo, where you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
And so Josh just drops everything and drives to Kentucky. So pick it up from there. Tell me what you found, what you heard, what happened.
So, Josh is probably somewhat private. So if I overshare, I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's where Braxton can edit it out.
Yeah.
But we are here to learn. Like I am anyway. That's why we're here at the Expo.
Yeah, for sure.
Drinking's fun too, but we're here to learn. The first thing we did when we went out there was just take note of everything and just kind of observe, just like what Josh said, right? And Josh had one technician and Josh, 2 people. It's a decent sized shop, 2 lifts. I guess technically maybe like 3 other dead bays, let's say.
So flat spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was 29 cars there, right? The marketing budget was way too high.
Yeah, you don't need a marketing budget if you got 2 dudes and 30 cars on the lot.
So that just affects bottom line by we're spending money we aren't making, and it's like causing all kinds of stress. And it's like, okay, so we have too many cars. We can't do anything until we get these cars done. So stop answering the phones for the most part. Don't bring any more appointments in. If you want to schedule them, we have to put a buffer in there to make sure we're looking at putting things down on paper on the whiteboard and say, okay, we have this many cars. What do we have to order parts for? What can we get done? And you just start to get some structure in there. And then, so we started knocking some cars out. Volume, not the hard jobs. Get the ones like Dave Ramsey talking, like the debt snowball, right?
Yeah.
Get production, even though, just get the volume done. So we started knocking out some cars. We couldn't do anything until we got some of the workload taken care of. So my 1-week trip turned into 2 weeks, probably 4 days into the trip. It's like, we haven't made any progress yet. So we started going through those things, and we find as time goes on, we're starting to build processes to be able to control communication within the shop. And we found, like, my goal in my shop is to not talk to each other, right? It sounds crazy, but the process should be so well defined that when you transfer jobs back and forth, or where the keys are hung, or where they're placed when they're done, we know the QC has been completed. We know the car's not been checked in yet. We know that it is checked in. We know that it's approved, not approved.
Right.
These kind of things that...
Hey, it's me, Mike's kid. Want to tell us your wild shop stories? Or maybe you just think my dad's totally wrong. Call us at 704-CONFESS and leave a message. You can tell us we're awesome, or you can tell us we're idiots. We're cool either way. That's 704-CONFESS. Just don't make it too weird.
that make things run more fluid, prevents stopping, going out to the shop, all these other things. So we found a lot of those. There was like something as simple as we weren't even tagging keys, right? On a one-man shop, you probably get away with that if things are like ran okay. But when you have 29 keys there and no tags, and Josh is transitioning to primarily Japanese vehicles, and we have to pull everything out of the shop every day because the landlord wants cars in the shop as much as possible. We're parking on an area we're not supposed to be parking in. Cars are 4 blocks deep, and I got to take every single Honda key with me to go figure out which cars go where.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, holy cow, it doesn't make any sense. But from being in the fishbowl, you don't know how big, like, what the problems are. So it's like just a simple thing like that. It's like, dude, it's $20 to go get a key tag, like 2,000 yellow key tags from Amazon, and then that problem is solved. And it's like, okay, check one. Hey, we made some progress.
Yeah,
so
but what coach are you going to hear that says, like, that's, you don't hear, I guess it's like an assumed thing, like, oh, you have a key tagging system that's, part of what you do because you run a shop. Well, I didn't have anything. So a lot of these foundational pieces were not in place.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where it comes down to there are levels of coaching, right? There's a level of coaching where all they want to talk to you about is investment strategy and real estate plays. Mm-hmm. And then there's a level of coaching where they want to talk about hiring and staffing and process creation. There's a level where they talk about why you should use a parts matrix and how to determine what your labor rate should be. And there's a level that's talking about what equipment do I need to buy, right? What software should I have? So it's just, and it's not that one's better than the other. They're just different steps along the path. And you can't get here until you've knocked out these steps, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you don't know what you don't know.
That's the biggest, that's what it was. Like, Josh is a better technician than I am, right? And I say we're both probably equal with compassion and taking care of the client, right? We will do whatever is necessary to make things right. So, like, that was never an issue. So, like, morally, I want to help him, and we're lined up together, so it's just a no-brainer. But so we found problems with too many cars. The write-up process was not being done properly, right? So when a customer calls, it gets written down in a notebook, in a notebook for just that. But then the car comes, the keys get dropped onto the desk, and they leave. There was a point where 2 cars were being worked on with, like, 3 cars had no work orders created. 1 car was actively being worked on. No signatures, nowhere, nothing, like, not even a dollar amount was approved. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's like, you cannot do this. This is a hard stop. Yeah. So it's like, when the customer calls, you explain your process, you do your sales process for what you offer, and at that point in time, you make the appointment. You immediately go into, unfortunately, TechMetric. And
Braxton, edit that out.
I'm just kidding, man. It works. They're both great systems, right? But when we go through that, we have all of the data that we need, so the process is there, and then we send the work order to the client at time of appointment. So that way, when they drop off, there's a signature already captured from the same day the appointment was made. It creates buy-in from the client, so you should have less of a no-show rate. And the dollar amount for the evaluation cost of what we're doing and your terms and conditions are already there, right? So that was huge, to be able to get the cars in and out properly, and not, there was a car that we couldn't figure out who owned it, right? And the car's been there for like a week or two, and that's what
happens when you're swamped and you don't have systems.
Yeah. So so we just chiseled away at it. It's like, hey, we're gonna do this, and we found a lot of different things, and then one thing we did fail on is we never actually had time to sit down, the three of us, and say, this is working, not working. Like, it wasn't in place yet. It's going to take a little bit to be able to see what was sticking and what wasn't. And they're two different shops. So what works for me may not work for him, but it works for me. So, this process does work. It's just a matter of maybe you have to tweak it for yourself.
Yeah. So what was that like for you, having him come over and be there and kind of assess the situation and start breaking things down like that?
Yeah. Excuse me. So it was first off, just incredibly humbling, and relinquishing control, to somebody who I already trust and I've already built a relationship with, and I know that he's not going to purposely mislead or take the business down a direction that we can't recorrect out of. And so I was just constantly just thankful, like, because I'm realizing, like, hey, he just had to let a guy go and hasn't even had time to pick up the pieces yet. And so he's choosing not only to be here through that, but also, he's got family at home, and, he's working through, some other stuff with his own business. And just so, like, the fact that he took the time to come here, and he didn't have to, and he definitely didn't have to give me the amount of time that he did. I mean, that was like every day, like, I woke up and I would talk with my wife, before we'd head out, and we just talked about, like, how thankful we are for this moment, how like, what a blessing this is.
So have things changed significantly at your shop since then?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So the stuff stuck. It's not like you just went back to the old ways.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that he said. I mean, do you remember what exactly? You're like, hey, it was like, I'm not going to tell you we can't be friends after this if you go back to your old ways, but it's going to severely impact our friendship. So, like, take this seriously. And it is. It was like, no, this is really, really important. This is like a key, turning point within the business. Is like, we have to make this work. So
How are things today at the shop?
Yeah. At the shop today?
Well, I mean, how is business today?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So
I assume the shop's closed today.
It is. Yeah. So it's good. So there was, like, some back and forth on, like, should I hire, should I not hire, who, and we ended up hiring an advisor. And so it has really taken a lot of the front end interaction off my plate. Now it has turned me into more of a coach now, which, you take off one hat and you put on two more, the therapist, coach, like, all that stuff. So, so it's really good to be seeing, more of the bird's eye view of what's going on in the business, and helping direct and, lead my team into, places that are going to get them to their next level as well.
So right now it's you, one tech, one advisor?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. At what point do you think you'll be able to add a tech to replace your technical production?
Yeah, I'd like to stabilize.
Okay.
So what we have not done is had much time for collaboration among the three of us.
Okay.
So I'd really like to get on the same page about, maybe some of the processes, like, hey, this is, what, Austin, the advisor, wants to see. This is what his desire is when he receives, an inspection. This is what he wants to see in the write-up. And then, what our technician, what he wants to get from, the advisor in terms of communication, in terms of, dispatching, like that sort of thing. So it is definitely in the works, but it's just going to take a little bit before I think it would be a good business decision to bring another person in. So, yeah, grow. I like to think of it as like, up the mountain, hit the plateau, up the mountain again.
How many cars are at the shop right now?
Oh, currently we left when there was like 3 there. That's it.
How long did it take you to figure out who owned the car, the mystery car on the lot?
Ooh, how did that one work out? Maybe, I don't want to say that they called.
Did you just tow it away?
Abandoned. I don't remember how that one played out. Maybe, I don't know if we found the registration.
Call the local police department and be like, hey, man, I need a favor. I need you to
yeah.
run these tags
Yeah,
for me.
right.
I think it took like a day and a half. I think.
I have 100% been walking the lot at night, checking to make sure everything's locked up and nothing needs to be pulled in or anything like that. And I'm like, man, that vehicle's been here for a little while. What's the story with that thing? And like back in the day at Dad's shop, we had Nextel. So you walk around, boop, boop, tag whatever, what's the story with this one, and lock it up, leave it unlocked, whatever. Hey, what's the story with this one? I don't know. It's been here for days. I just figured a customer dropped it off to pick up their car. Well, it's unlocked. Well, I guess we'll go diving and looking for registrations.
Yeah.
Hey, the key's in the cup holder. Okay, so that was dropped off 3 or 4 days ago by a tow truck then, right?
Okay.
So does it start? Okay, and just have to go into investigator mode at that point. And you're wondering, how does somebody have a car towed in and it'd be there for days and then just never call and check on it? But
Maybe that was what it was. They had just towed it over.
well, it's like
No
dropped off
call.
after hours, and the
Yeah.
tow truck driver didn't do the night drop box, and nobody ever called.
No.
And it is embarrassing though that you could have a car in the lot for multiple days and not realize it.
I don't think so. That would be a pretty good win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Different 29 cars at CarFix Garner might be a problem. But not enough
unfortunately
cars.
low. Yeah.
But the 29 cars with 1 tech and two lifts.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. How many incomplete hours were we were sitting on? I think 70 some or 80 some like outstanding hours that were already sold, just needing to be completed.
Because of how compassionate you are, and because of how it's obvious how much you love your people and what your work and what you do, I think people will wait for you for a while. But eventually, if every time I come in it takes 3 weeks, you can start losing people.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. You got some systems and processes in place, and you got some help so that you didn't spend all of your time building estimates and chasing parts and cleaning up messes, so you can actually turn some hours, right? So has this evolution, now, if I recall correctly, when we recorded back in April, you got like a really good ARO, right? Like a really high. So has that maintained its health level and stayed where it was, or?
So initially it went down, and I had fully planned on that just during training of a new advisor who came from the dealership. His numbers were really good. He showed me some of what he was doing at the dealer, but I told him like, hey, we're going to be doing things a little differently, but just know, up front, this is, we're going to be training first. And then so slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Yeah.
So we are more focused on getting the processes down first, and then we'll worry about growing the volume after that. But in the same way that I thought I was training him, he is just as much training me. And so because of his work at the dealership, some of the pricing structures in my business I found out were maybe a little undervalued. And so even though we took a decent hit on like our hours per RO, we were actually able to make more with less. So we had about an average car count, but the ARO when I was, I guess before the advisor started, was just over, I think it was like $990 or something like that. And, we left last week with it being at, 1,180.
Love that.
So, yeah,
Love
that's
that.
great.
Do you have a target, or is it just
For me,
Yeah, car
All
or
of it.
ARO.
all of it.
You want all the monies? Evil shop owner mentality.
The target is just do slightly better, right? But that's not. Rick would probably kill me for that, right? It's like just not. You need a ruler. My ARO is 950, and I still have a lot of areas of improvement, right?
So in your general repair, primarily domestic and Asian, and in a challenging market, Fayetteville, North Carolina is not an affluent area. And so you have a lot of price conscious customers. So I think a primarily domestic and Asian general repair shop in a challenging market to have a almost $1,000 ARO is pretty fucking awesome.
Something I'm really proud of, right? Now, to be fair, I do have my only technician I have right now he worked at a Euro shop, primary Euro shop, and he works on everything.
Yeah.
So we do have a sprinkling of a few $5,000 coolant leaks on Jags, but it's...
Are they even worth fixing anymore? Oh my God.
That's a whole nother confession. Oh my God, man. Just so everyone knows, I am not doing great this month. Right? Like, we are not in good shape. But so we do have a couple euros. So the target, I'm at just a tick over 4 hours a ticket, right? Which is, Rick wants you to look at hours per RO because it can be translated front or back of the house, right? So, whereas the
dollars is just front of the house only.
Yeah. So, and that's more valid, especially when we're talking about difference of the labor rates, right? Like, so that changes the ARO substantially.
Sure.
But yeah.
And at $1,100, you were a specialty shop. Is that right? Were you Euro primarily?
We're not Euro.
Yeah. Okay.
No. I get maybe €2 a month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And what part of Kentucky are you in?
Louisville.
And what is Louisville like? Is that affluent area? Is it kind of standard middle of the road?
So I like to gauge that by how many, European car dealers we have. Like, do we have any exotics, anything like that? And we've got a Porsche dealership there, and the Maserati dealership couldn't make it, so they're out. So, I would say we're definitely not a Nashville or a Cincinnati. Probably closer to like an Indy
Or a Raleigh.
maybe a Raleigh. So not super affluent, but there is a deficit of good shops.
Well, I tell you that you're both doing something right there, because for general repair, those are great numbers. Our target is, depending on the store, is a little bit variable, is between 800 and 1,000. And that's one of the areas that I'm struggling right now is my closing rate. My technicians are doing great DVIs, or my rack attack crew is doing great DVIs, and we're building big fucking estimates. And we're trying to figure out a way to throttle that and give the customer all the information they need, but without falsely killing cars.
Yeah.
And they see this huge number, and we've got to educate and articulate appropriately that you don't have to have all of this right now, but you have to know about all of it before you make a choice on what you do want to do right now, right?
Right.
Because they have the right to know everything before they do anything. And that can be delivered in a way that does not kill cars, but sometimes we are not delivering it in that way, the way that we should.
Sure.
And you mentioned dealership advisors. I'm finding that unless it's a luxury brand dealership advisor, a lot of times they're used to very high volume and a lower ARO with a lot of warranty work, right? And so I'm used to dealer guys coming in for an interview, and they're like writing 25, 30 cars a day.
Absolutely.
And they're looking for a $250 ARO.
Exactly.
And all they care about is a CSI score,
Yes,
right?
100%.
And so how do you transfer a guy who is used to no relationship, pure volume, because he's got to do 25, 30 cars a day, to a guy, I want you to do 8 cars a day at $1,000 a piece. It's a really different work experience. And they both make money. There's an argument to be made that the volume transactional base makes more money in the long run for the owner. I don't know if it makes more money for the advisor. It definitely doesn't make more money for the advisor.
Yeah.
So
It's even more stress for the advisor too.
yeah, for sure. I think a 30 ticket a day service advisor is a really hard job because you're going to drop some balls and you're going to piss some people off and you're going to have to deal with fires at a higher rate when you're dealing with 30 a day. Mm-hmm. You're not going to build as many relationships. So I don't know. It's striking the balance. So I would say, that where do you go to get service advisors? But I know you go to the bedroom.
Yep.
So
What? I don't know how.
the
I
shirt
can
you're
share
wearing
so
right
much.
now on the back of it says, "I'm sleeping with my service advisor."
Yeah. If you don't know me, I have a pretty childish sense of humor for those listeners. So I tried to convince. So I told you that my advisor left, right? She when she told me she was quitting, she was crying. We have an awesome work culture, right? And she left because she found a job that offered a pension. I mean, like, we have retirement in the works that I want to complete this coming year, but I can never offer a pension, so that's not going to happen. So the wife was my wife's name is Mitch, but I call her wife, just so you all know. She is a physical therapy assistant, and she left a GS job, federal job, because it just wasn't. She just was getting too stressed, right? She didn't like it, and so I offered. Eventually, we were going to get two service advisors. So, like, I planted the seed last year when she was starting to get, upset, and then as my second advisor, well, the opportunity arose that I need an advisor, and she made the jump, and she is in her 5th day of employment as of Friday at the ASTA.
So half
Expo.
of the time she's been just socializing at training events.
Yeah, and yep. So yeah, that's a very good point. And I'll tell you what. So my wife was out of the business altogether, not a partial owner or nothing like that. I mean, she reaps the benefits of the net profit, I guess,
Yeah.
right? So, but when I hired her, I'm like, hey, this is like my business, but realistically, as my wife, I mean, it's mine as much as I say it is, but it's not really true. She's made it very evident that I am an employee, like she is an employee. I mean, when I ask her to go to the bank to drop off stuff, she's like, I'm not doing that during my lunch break. I'll punch out for lunch when I get back. It's like, all right, okay, So, I made the joke. Nah, that's all right. I'll keep that to myself. Because my wife, she's pretty shy, right? But shoot.
Just talking about how you're driving down wages by hiring
Slave labor.
family. Yeah.
Slave labor. Yeah, because you are allowed to hire family and like not pay them. But it's like a farm, right? Yeah. But no, like my shirt says, I'm sleeping with my service advisor, and I'm here to have a good time.
Do you have one per that says I'm sleeping with my boss?
I tried to, but she was just too much.
She wouldn't wear it.
No, she did. She's just a little too shy for that. So then the joke was, she's gonna put a question mark on the back of it instead. Just the hell does that mean? And then the other one was like the world's okayest service writer. So she has no service writing skills whatsoever. Training, not skills. No service writer training whatsoever. And I am 100% set her up for failure to the point where the second day in, she left in tears. And I thought, to get personal, I thought that I was going to be the one to make her cry. And it wasn't, right? Because I have a certain way to do things, and I was concerned that we're going to really hurt our relationship, and we had to talk about it. If it starts affecting us, as a married couple, then we're going to have to not do this, right? And when she cried the second day of work going home, it made me feel really bad, and then I felt really bad because I thought it was something that I was doing, and it turns out that indirectly, it's because I didn't train her, but not because I'm being too hard on her. She had 2 days of training with the old advisor. Unfortunately, my old advisor, she already had vacation scheduled during that last 2 weeks, and then she got sick when she came back, like in the hospital, probably almost dead. But there was like a couple days, they did some training, and that helped some, but nowhere. You can't do 2 days of training and be like, all right, the job's yours.
Probably would have been easier on Techmetric.
Maybe. It's possible. So I'm grateful that this event happened when it did, so where we at least have some guidance to where to go, and then we have to seriously get into the weeds and start writing these things down. Back to like what Josh did for me, right? So I came out there for 2 weeks. He knew he was coming to ASTA, and he volunteered to come out early to sit in the shop and do the same thing.
Yeah.
And it went weird because I have a new advisor. So I'm like, can you help trying to train her? And he sat down and started writing some, flow sheets, like, the Honda yes, no, diag trees.
Yeah.
And just to figure out like how to steer the conversation correctly. And, that's going to be beneficial when we get down to that and kind of customize that with the words that she's familiar with using, so it rolls off the tongue better and it sounds more like genuine and not all clunky. So there's a lot of things like that we're going to be working on in the next few weeks.
So one of the things that I'm much more regimented. We have like scripts that you need to learn, and I'm not saying that you need to do that, but one of the things I've seen our guys, my leadership team, doing with our advisors that has been really cool is, like in your example, you could have, well, here are the talking points that we want to make sure we touch on, and here's how we get people in the door, and here's what we charge for diag or whatever it might be, right? You can teach GTP your process, and you can role play verbally with GTP on your phone.
Yeah.
And you can trade places. Okay, now I'm going to be the customer, you be the service advisor. And it can be the service advisor following your process and showing you how to overcome objections and how to push back and how to ask leading questions. It's a really valuable tool if she's comfortable doing that. Just in the car while you're driving. Instead of listening to the radio or listening to a podcast, other than this podcast. You could just be practicing your phone skills and your customer relation skills and, overcoming price objections and turning them into appointments and whatever it might be. So it's a useful tool for advisors who don't have any formal training or experience to get reps, because it's all about reps and getting experience. And the more reps you can get in practice, the better you are on game day.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think it's awesome that the two of you you're both relatively young in your business, and you've both invested heavily in each other in development and growth. And I thought it was an awesome story, and I wanted to share it. Any parting words of wisdom?
I got one more thing. I talk too much, but this is important. Josh Rainwater and I met the first time I came to ASTA in 23, and we became, I consider him my best friend, right? So if you have never attended any training convention, ASTA is a great one. It's freaking awesome. And the cost of this convention is a lot less expensive than the other ones out there. And it is 100% life-changing, right? You have got to experience something like this. As a shop owner, and if you do come to these events, you want to do all the social events. You want to hang out in the lobby.
Yeah.
You want to hang out at the bar, even if you don't drink. You've got to build these relationships. I have great friends in this industry, all because of this organization, right?
I was in the hospitality suite until 1 o'clock this morning. I didn't have a drop of alcohol, and I had a blast.
Yeah.
And there were some people who had enough drops for both of us. And they had a blast too. So
you've got to experience this.
Yeah.
So cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our video today. If you enjoyed this content and you'd like to see some more, you can click right here. And it would be really helpful for me if you thought that this level of mediocrity is something that could help your other friends that were shop owners or in the industry. You can click right here and subscribe. You can even set up notifications if you want. I'd love to have you on the channel.